game. It's a rich thing.
Hello adventurers, and welcome to my new Black Desert mobile series, Zero to Hero. I'm Zexty and I'll be starting a fresh account with literally nothing to my name, so it'll be as if I was a brand new player. So while I work on this, I'll be making more beginner videos so I have the perspective of a lower CP account, and so I can also show you how I progress through those CP brackets. The first few videos will primarily be story progression and me using the items that Prolibus gives us to speed things along. Knowledge will also be huge for this account's progression, so I'll show you how I acquire all the different types of knowledge, so knowledge from monsters, from NPCs, from the story, etc, etc. So there's a lot, so I won't show every second of how to get each, but I will try to cover most of it early on, especially for the early progression. So day one took a long time, so I'll break it into two parts, but after that I quickly start to progress through the story and also gain CP, so those will be individual episodes. I'll be leaving timestamps in the description of each video just in case there's something that you want to jump forward to, and then also I'll be including my start and end CP for each video in the title, so that way also you can check out a certain CP progression bracket. But other than that, thank you for your support. Let's get into the video. Alright, so jumping into this, I did just want to let you know that most of the tutorials I will be skipping, but I will be explaining them more once I get into those actual parts of the tutorial, so it'll be like mini guides throughout this. Also on here you can see that there is a growth boost, so I get bonus XP, bonus knowledge, bonus a lot of different things. I think it's like drop rate as well, so that's super nice for beginners, and I believe it's for 13 days. I'll be checking my events tab very often because there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's growth support chests, there's leveling up chests as well, CP. The higher your CP is, you can actually skip quests, which in this game, doing your main quest line is going to be a vast majority of where you're getting your XP from, but also it's going to unlock a lot of different content for you so you can progress quicker. So as I had said, the main quest storyline is going to be your best bet for progressing through the game. I will early on, I'll be showing pretty much most of the video clips for progressing through the story, but later on I will be condensing it. Basically, I'm just going to be trying to save you some time so you don't have to watch everything, and I'll just give commentary where it's needed or where it's necessary. While I'm doing the story, every now and then you'll see that I kind of stop to the side to collect these knowledges. You can do them while you're doing your first run through of the story, or you can just wait until later. It's definitely your choice, but I did want to give you one quick warning. My microphone changed in the middle of recording, so the audio might sound a little bit different. In the future it'll all be the same, but as I was saying, for that knowledge, you can get it while you're going through the story. However, I will be making individual videos for each region's knowledge. So it'll be the characters, it'll be doing the quest, it'll be like these little hidden parts of knowledge. And I'll be going through each region just to make sure that we don't miss any, and then eventually we'll get full knowledge. So as you can see, I'm just gonna keep continuing with this quest. Early on, I'll be skipping most of the dialogue, but if you are a new player, I highly encourage either reading it or just listening to the audio. I think that the team did a really good job making this quest. It's got a pretty nice story to it. Just because I am trying to make a guide and I'm trying to be quick about it, I'll be skipping through most of it. But other than that, this is like a pretty good reason for like why the game is so good, is just because of the stories that are behind it and really making it. So if it is your first time, feel free to take your time. There's no rush. You don't need to get anywhere anytime soon. Late game will always be there. But as for me, I'll be skipping through, and then also you'll notice kind of in these videos, a lot of times whenever the quest is running, I'm doing other things like in my inventory or in the background. Basically the quest does itself, so it's a good time for me to like adjust my skills or enhance my gear or like clean my inventory. So just kind of keep that in mind. The quest does take a really long time, but try not to be super idle while you're doing it. Try to make sure that you're ready for that next step. And the next steps in this will normally be, you'll need higher CP for certain monsters. So at certain points, every time you unlock a piece of knowledge or information, or you get further along the quest line by defeating a boss, you'll unlock a new piece of content. And with that content, you'll be able to boost your CP pretty quickly and easily. So normally that next piece of content after the quest will need higher CP, and that'll just kind of help you do it. So at this point, you can pretty much just keep following the quest and it'll auto do it for you. I will kind of be speeding it up, or at least skipping a little bit, just to save time. But if you just keep following the quest line by clicking it, it'll take you through where you need to go. And then also this is kind of like the start of combat. I did want to make a comment here, which would be, you see those little question mark boxes next to the monster? That means that there's knowledge for it. So when you kill them, you can get this knowledge. Because I'm a new player, you have a higher chance of getting that knowledge, I believe. But you'll kind of have a choice to, while you're doing this, to go through every map and then get that knowledge, or wait until you unlock Hadoom, which in Hadoom, you'll need to get a whole lot more knowledge from all these different areas. But if you haven't gotten the base knowledge for Elion, you can always get that in Hadoom. So just keep that in mind. You don't actually have to clear out all these monsters for their knowledge, but I will do it early on just to kind of get like a CP boost. That way later down the line it won't really affect me. But honestly, probably the fastest strategy to just level up and progress is just by doing the quest. You'll see that I take a lot of different sidetracks. What I'm most interested in though is my camp and making sure that my workers are hired, making sure that I'm building my camp as I'm going along. So I will start to speed it up, and then anytime I have something that I need to say or just want to make a comment on, I'll pop back in. I did just want to make a quick comment here. So if you don't like your settings, you can always go into the settings and then kind of check either the game or the convenience settings and then adjust it to how you like. These settings that I have, they're pretty much already set to everything that I like. So I turn off like a lot of the notifications for loot. I leave the display on, but convenience is mostly what I do. So like I auto use HP potions at my max HP using the lowest grade first, and then also later down the line I'll turn on my meals being used automatically. And then my favorite mode is 8 key for your actual key bindings, like for your skills. So the rest is pretty much your preference. I lowered the graphics for the effects just so like my system doesn't overheat or anything, and then also the game gets a little bit loud sometimes, so I turn it down as well. But yeah, just make a note that you can change your settings to whatever you like, and then especially do that early on, so that way it's a setup that you're comfortable with and that you enjoy. Alright, so here we're actually going to unlock pets. Pets are going to be super important for you in the game. You'll pretty much have 3 sets of presets that you'll want to use. One's going to be for PvP, the other one's going to be for boss, and then the other one's just going to be a general CP. Early on for your pets, you definitely won't have a lot, but working on them early on is always good. I do have a pet guide. I recommend checking that out if you're new to the game. But also a good way to get pets would just be from doing Patrigio every day, and then you'll want to unlock your pet album. So Patrigio will give you some good low tier pets of any kind, and from other events you can also get pets. So even within 3 days I was able to get a pretty good amount of pets, and then also I was able to get at least 3 tier 6 pets. So the next thing that is it's just unlocked for you was skills. So for your skills, I don't go into it, but I will briefly talk over it. Your skills, you have, I believe there's like 10 or so, but they made an update where you don't need the basic skill books anymore. Your basic skill books basically just go into a pool of knowledge for skills, and that'll increase your CP and HP. But for your skills, to actually increase those 10 skills, you'll need like these yellow books to level them up, which early on you really don't get them very often. So here I can't actually level them up even though I got skill books. Those are just going to end up going towards some other training. But for your skills, early on you will want to at least unlock these other little bonuses for your skills, so they're enhancements to them. A lot of times they'll give you an extra skill rotation, an extra charge for it. It'll increase like AP or DP, increase the crit chance, and then also you'll want to set your branch as well. So you can do Ahib, Surret, Labreviate, or Labreve. I don't pronounce any of these right, but you will want to set them at least. And then also something that I recommend looking into for your character is kind of like a skill guide. So you can set up 3 different branches of skills, or 3 different presets for skills. And then it's kind of like the same thing as I had said before. You can have one for PvP, one for bosses, and then the other for farming monsters out in the world. So I do it pretty early on where I set my skills to just be like farming, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that early on just because these skill levels are level 1, so you're not going to have all those enhancements to it yet. So here you'll pretty much want to equip any equipment that is better than what you're currently wearing. Obviously I'm not wearing anything right now, but the tiers will pretty much just go white, green, blue, yellow, orange, pink, and then chaos, which is like a different blue. And then also, after doing that one part of the quest, you'll be able to select your family name. I'm gonna stick to OPG Zexty just because that is my YouTube name, and then also it's just what I use in general. If you're wondering why I chose this name, just leave a comment. Honestly, I've never answered it, or I've never really thought about it. But if you want to know, just let me know and I'll answer it for you. Alright, so that is how you start doing life skills. You can either do gathering, mining, or logging. And then now there's also cooking, and then you can also do fishing and excavation. Excavation you'll need in the desert, and then fishing you'll need to be by a body of water. And these life skills are really good for your progression. It'll help you in your camp, and your camp is a huge part of this game. The earlier you set it up, the better. So I will be showing you that here in a bit as well. So here you'll tame a horse, and then horses are going to be really important for traveling throughout the world. Even once you're in the end game, you'll need a horse, but the higher the tier horse, I believe the faster it goes, and then you can also change its skills as well. Once you get like a tier 7 horse, that's when you can probably look into changing the skills. And then tier 8 is pretty good as well. You can also get a Doom Horse, but that's later on in the game, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But in the world, you can always try to tame these horses as well using a rope and sugar, and then you can level up those horses and then exchange them to get a higher tier horse. Alright, so this is where you actually unlock Dark Energy, which you can use with your Black Spirit. This is a really good way to get CP. So you can feed gear to your Black Spirit. You can feed like these little crystals, and those will give you a lot of XP. Early on, if you can get like a red or an orange, one of those little crystal things to feed him, it's really good. You'll jump a whole lot of levels, and your Black Spirit will give you a lot of CP. So every level you'll get 8 CP, I believe. So once you get to level 100, that's 800 CP, which is more than quadruple what my current CP, or it's less than quadruple, but almost quadruple what my current CP is just as a low level. So always kind of keep that in mind. And then also early on for your pets, you'll want to try to prioritize some pets that give you some bonus Dark Energy XP, so that'll be pretty nice. And then also early on, just try to like level up your gear so you have higher CP. You can actually kind of wait until you have like yellow or orange or even red gear. You'll get them pretty easily by doing the quest, and then by doing those progression events, you'll get some free red gear later on, but that'll be in like day 2 or 3 of my series. So this will be our first introduction to a boss rush. There's going to be a lot of different bosses that you will have to defeat throughout this story. The first boss is Red Nose, and then every time that you do this rush, you'll have to run through the entire course of the rush, and that's true for every time that you increase the difficulty of it. But then also, if you were to complete it and then go back and redo the same level, if you have Combat Plus, I believe is what it is, Combat something, it's basically one of the items that you buy in the Pearl Shop, you'll be able to just start right at the boss. So I am actually going to get that early on. I'm going to end up purchasing the $10 pack, the one that is like Life Skill Plus, Black Spirit Plus, Camp Manager, it's going to be Dies, and it's going to be the Combat Buff Plus. But I'm just going to make that investment early on just because it is a pretty decent quality of life increase, so might as well just do that. And then, like I had said before, anytime that I'm doing something that's pretty much running on auto, I'll do something in the background. So just there I was increasing my Black Spirit and then kind of checking out my inventory, seeing what was trash, what wasn't. Alright, so that's Red Nose, and then also this screen is a really good showing of what to expect. So every time you defeat a boss, you'll unlock something new. In this case, it was the camp, and then also Black Spirit quests. So every time you defeat one, you'll unlock something new, and then you can kind of scroll through all these different quests that are available. So As you do them, you'll unlock new things, and then you'll keep progressing, and then it really helps your CP. So this is just going to be the knowledge growth. So basically anytime that you're doing a boss or you're doing ancient ruins, your XP will be doubled until you get to level 100 for them. That was the tutorial for boss rushes just there. It wasn't very helpful, but I'll go more into it once I unlock some more bosses, and then I'll also be making an independent boss rush guide. This is how you access your Black Spirit quests. You can either click it from where I just clicked it, or up at the top right, you can click the little 3 menu bar items, and then click Black Spirit, and then it'll be at the bottom right, at the bottom center right of your screen where it says Black Spirit Quest, and you'll have to go in and accept those daily. So those are really helpful. They're short and easy, so I encourage doing those. This is just going to be an example of me running around collecting knowledge in the maps. Again, I will be doing this separately in the future, so I'm still going to speed this up and then just kind of progress with the quest. But this way you can at least kind of see more or less what it's like whenever you're running around trying to collect knowledge. You'll see these little books of knowledge with a question mark on them. They semi-recently improved this to where you don't have to be super close to that piece of knowledge to see it. Before you had to be like right on top of it to see it. So at least it's not as hard as it used to be. Alright, so with that we have unlocked our camp. This is probably one of the most important things to do in the game, so I am going to kind of go over this with you really quickly. I should be going more in depth in the camp later on, but at least setting it up early on, I'll walk you through that right now. Again, I don't really go through the tutorials because I don't think they help that much anyways, but I'll kind of try to show a little something. So to build anything, you have to go into that build tab, and then you'll have to select where you want to place it and then put a check mark. To build certain things, it does cost resources, but early on you'll get a lot of resources for free. The game is pretty much spoon feeding you all of these items, so take advantage of it while you can, and then build pretty much anything that's available. You'll have to upgrade these individual pieces of buildings. So right now they're all at level 1, so the refinery you can level up even higher, but every time that you level them up, or I guess rather the first thing I should say is the most important thing to eventually level up is going to be your camp itself. So when you first get it, it's tier 1, and then you can keep scaling it higher, and every time that you upgrade your camp, you can upgrade your buildings higher as well. So here I'm just kind of organizing my camp so it's not so messy. It is a little bit easier to organize once your camp is bigger anyways, but this is more or less where I'm going to end up leaving the stuff anyways, so. So hiring workers, this is going to be pretty important because your workers are going to be the backbone of your camp. They'll be doing all of the building of the actual buildings, so construction of it. They'll be doing the farming. They will be doing the world gathering. They'll be crafting all your items. So anytime that you can hire better workers, it's for the best. So at the top right, you can see right next to the stamina, their contribution points. That total number of contribution points is going to be really important. You'll increase your contribution level by doing quests and then also doing quests within your camp. But each of these workers, they cost a certain amount of contribution. So the white ones are 2, the greens are 3, the blues are 5 maybe. And then the purples are more. I'm just kind of gonna wait until we see what colors there are. I believe you have a higher chance of getting higher tiered workers depending on the level of your camp. So I'll be using a lot of stamina just to get more or less what I'm looking for, because I can't have a lot of workers anyways, and it's better to have higher levels early on. I will end up replacing all of these workers eventually though, just because eventually I'll be able to have all yellow workers, which is the highest tier, and yellow workers cost 12 contribution each. So in your camp, you'll also be able to build like homes or residence for them. I think they're just called tents. But every time that you build a new one of those, you can hire more workers. The more workers you have, the more work can get done, the more things that you can do around your camp. You'll use them for merchantry, for Great Ocean, for a number of things. So definitely make sure that you have good workers, and then make sure that you have the higher tier ones as well. Early on, you'll, again, still not be able to hire as many as you might want, but the later you go on into the game and the more you progress in the story, the quicker and easier it'll be to hire more of them. And by day 3, I have like a tier 8 camp already, so it doesn't take too long, but definitely make sure you do this early on, because there are certain aspects to this where you have to wait a lot of time. So here's where the events really start to get important. So every time that you achieve a certain combat bracket or a CP level, you'll be able to collect these tickets to skip the actual story. So you'll get the knowledge right off the bat. And then also every time that you defeat a boss, you'll get another piece of something from the events as well. So I think I just got like an outfit. But by using this ticket, I can skip all the way up until the next part. So this is definitely really helpful at speeding things along. And then also, this is how you put your outfits into your wardrobe, and then you can equip them. Your outfits can give you different appearances, but also they'll give you different stats. So these purple ones, they really don't give good stats, but once you get these epic outfits, you'll get a lot higher stats, and then you can upgrade those epic ones into mystical, and then enhance it with even better and different stats. So here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to skip the quest just because it took me so long to reach the CP. So what you really should be doing is trying to get as much CP as possible early on and just keep skipping the quest. And then once you skip the quest, you'll do the boss, you'll get another piece of equipment, you'll unlock something new, and then you'll get more CP. So rinse and repeat. I didn't know that early on, but now I do. So here is the camp construction support, where you'll pretty much end up getting a lot of resources. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's something like 15,000 resources each per chest. And then also there's now the total boss knowledge level milestone. That one, you probably won't get as much from it as these other ones, so try to prioritize the other events first, and then make sure that you open up that support chest as well. It'll help you with your camp construction. So just because this video is getting kind of long, I think I'm just gonna stop it right here. I will get more into the pets, the camp, and then getting into actually skipping the story. So in the next episode, I'm just going to be skipping most of the story, kind of showing you what you should be doing in between them in terms of refining your gear, of upgrading your camp, as I had already said. So as always, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate any likes, comments, and subscribes. If you like this series, please let me know, or if you have any other ideas, let me know as well. But I'll still be continuing those beginner guides, so please be on the lookout for those as well, and thank you for watching.